Trailhand Bill, reporting live from South Florida. It is very beautiful 8:06 p.m. Monday night, man. I seen some beautiful views driving home. That's not what y'all are here for, though. I wish I could say that I'm surprised we're back in Arizona, but I'd be lying. Guess we should get to the video. If you didn't know, it's the Johnnies.
Well, right now, a civil rights attorney is wanting $500,000 from the Phoenix Police Department and the city of Phoenix, claiming a teenager was assaulted by 3 officers. 12 News journalist Troy Lynch is looking into what happened.
Yeah, this story is really hard to hear and see. Any angle that you look at it, you know it's just a really tough situation when it comes to police and also the family. And we do want to warn you that this body cam footage that we have from Phoenix Police, it is a tough watch. Now, the video that you're seeing right now, this is not the tough part. We're going to get to that in just a second. But this incident happened last January, and the victim in this incident is now 18-year-old Sergio Nino, and he was 16 when this happened. Now, what you see here are the officers talking to the dad. In this conversation, the dad was explaining to the officers he was trying to talk to Sergio, would knock on his door a few times, but Sergio wouldn't open up. So the dad eventually used a screwdriver to open the door where Sergio was pushing back on it. The dad, who claims to have paid for the phone that he was trying to get, tried to take it, and that's when a physical altercation happened between him and his son. So the dad called the police, in which the dad says in the video, this is not the first time he's called the cops on his son. However, during the conversation with the police officers, you can hear one of the officers saying it's okay to beat and drag his son as long as it's a form of discipline.
If he runs out.
Well, you can. You're just choosing not to.
How though? I mean,
You drag him.
Really?
You drag him. You hit him. He's a child. He only has rights from the government. He has no rights from you. So if you wish to beat him, you can beat him. You wish to belt him, belt him.
So this is the part that's hard to watch. Officers talking with Nino as Nino was attempting to show them a video of a fight that he got into with his dad on his phone. An officer takes the phone, and that's when a fight ensued. Blood can be seen on the floor later in the video from facial injuries that Nino suffered that required stitches, lawyers said. He also suffered a fractured wrist that required surgery after repeatedly saying in the body cam video that the handcuffs were too tight. Now, the claim was filed by Larry Wolken of Zwillinger Wolken PLC, who said in a statement, despite their duty as mandatory reporters under Arizona law, the officers ignored and dismissed multiple reports of child abuse from both Sergio and his sister. Now, this is a $500,000 notice of claim, which is a required step before filing a lawsuit. And this is against the 3 Phoenix police officers and the city of Phoenix. Now, the next step would be a federal lawsuit. And we've reached out to the Phoenix Police Department, and they gave us a short response back saying that this incident is still pending litigation. We're here in Phoenix. Troy Lynch, 12 News.
All right, Troy, thank you.
Hell of a situation. 3 government cowards. Y'all beat over 16-year-old big dog, blood, broken bones. We seen you snatch the phone out of his hand like a real... Words I probably don't need to use, man. Let's talk about a couple of things. Number one, we not finna make this damn father no villain, man, for being a dad. That shit happen way too often. I am perfectly glad to cover this story because I'm gonna make sure that shit don't happen over here. If anything, he's a villain for calling the damn cops on his kids. You don't do no shit like that, big dog. I mean, it has to be a severe circumstance. You trying to get in the room and take the phone from your son. Now, I know, as a parent, you like, man, I'd raise your ass. You know what I mean? That could drive your emotions really high, but it cannot be so high that you call these cops. And you did this a couple of times. I hope you learned your lesson this time. Praise God, they didn't have to murder your child for you to learn that lesson. That was some dumbass shit. So if anything you could be villainized for, it would be that. I wouldn't even villainize you for that. There are a lot of Americans who don't understand you can't call these cowards for anything unless you want someone attacked or murdered or terrorized. And a lot of families found that out the hard way. So once again, praise God, you, sir, you didn't. But because you're trying to get into his room and get a phone, that's an extreme step to take. For whooping your son ass, your daughter ass? Nah. I know we live in this soft ass, what they call, I can't even think, snowflake generation. I'm from Georgia, man. We commonly hear parents say, I'm about to beat my child ass. All they're saying is the same thing that parents who use the word whoops. It's just the lingo. It doesn't mean they're about to abuse their children. Different parts of the nation, different parts of the world, different cultures approach things differently. This resonates so much with me because I remember having this conversation with somebody who wasn't from our area, and we were a group of adults having a conversation, and one of the adults be like, yeah, I'm gonna beat my kids, and the other person just went crazy. I mean, for a long time, not just in that conversation, they went crazy about it for a long time after that. They didn't understand that was just the lingo. That's how everybody talks down there. And since everybody talks down there, and we all know we're not child abusers, we've seen parents say they're going to beat their kids, and we watched it happen, and all they did was what you do when you call whoop your. It's a semantics thing. So in this conversation, I'm kind of coming to the aid of the Johnnies, but I'm going to get back to that later. I don't know how y'all, like, this is a southern thing for us. Y'all ain't southern up there in Arizona, and y'all terrorist ass cops definitely got a bad reputation for terrorizing everybody. So I'm not saying that he meant that. I just want to reiterate this, perhaps in the defense of the father, even though he was not co-signing that anyway. He was like, no. That's why the Johnny was telling her, well, you can do this. Now, what would lead me to believe that that's not what the Johnny meant? He started talking about dragging and all that. Now, once again, back in Georgia, when parents talking about beating their kid, ain't no dragging and stuff going on. You're going to use a belt. You're going to use your hands or whatever, family. We ain't dragging no kids. We ain't doing none of that. When it gets to those levels, some extreme things have happened, and we have to do that as we have no other recourse. And not just to punish our kids, but to redeem the situation. So I want to be clear. In no way am I co-signing what the Johnny seemed to be saying. I just had a situation like that with some friends back home with someone who didn't understand the context of our culture, and when they heard one of the parents say they were going to beat their kids. Because back in the day, even where I'm from, when you say beat, that's what it meant. But in modern times, no, it just means you're about to whoop your child. I'm pretty sure this may not be news to some of you. Now, to the Johnnies. Why do I have to get to the Johnnies? We seen what they did. You told that parent, you told that father to abuse his child. The reason I know it is because you incorporated the word drag into it. That's far beyond simple physical discipline. Kind of like the same thing the dad did when he called y'all ass. The difference is, I'm pretty sure it never crossed his mind that his family would be subjected to the brutality that they were when he called y'all. Y'all came there knowing y'all was some motherfucking terrorists, and I would venture to say y'all probably got complaints on your records, or should have, because you've done some shit like this before. How did that child get broken bones? How did blood enter the situation? 16 years old. He kind of big now. I ain't finna act like, Kyle, he bigger than that cop who snatched the phone from him. It just goes to show what I'm always saying, guys. You don't call these cowards to rescue you or help you in any situation unless you have it perfectly mapped out. You don't allow them into your property, your home, your vehicle. You don't give them any more access to you or your loved ones or anybody that you have responsibility for than you're legally required to. Why, Trailhand? Hope nobody asked that question. I hope nobody asked that damn question. $500,000. I was thinking about this today because I have a situation right now that I have to incorporate the help of attorneys. And I was thinking that if good attorneys exist, they're the same place that good cops are. I applaud you suing these people and trying to get some civil justice for this family. There should be some criminal justice for them as well. But the fact that you got to try to paint this father as some type of villain to do that makes me think what I was thinking earlier today. If good attorneys exist, they are the same place that good cops are. Know your rights. Teach your children to know their rights and know who these cowards are. And I need to start saying this, and I need to find a better way to say it. Know that you have a right to defend yourself, even against paid terrorists and government clown suits. I'm Trailhand Bill. Arizona has much more of a Johnny problem than a lot of other states. And I hope the citizens don't have to find out the hard way.
This incident happened last January, and the victim in this incident is now 18-year-old Sergio Nino, and he was 16 when this happened. Now, what you see here are the officers talking to the dad. In this conversation, the dad was explaining to the officers he was trying to talk to Sergio, would knock on his door a few times, but Sergio wouldn't open up. So the dad eventually used a screwdriver to open the door, where Sergio was pushing back on it. The dad, who claims to have paid for the phone that he was trying to get, tried to take it, and that's when a physical altercation happened between him and his son. So the dad called the police, in which the dad says in the video this is not the first time he's called the cops on his son. However, during the conversation with the police officers, you can hear one of the officers saying it's okay to beat and drag his son as long as it's a form of discipline.
Well, you can, you're just choosing not to. You drag him. You drag him, you hit him, he is a child. He only has rights from the government, he has no rights from you. So if you wish to beat him, you can beat him. You wish to belt him, belt him.
So this is the part that's hard to watch. Officers talking with Nino as Nino was attempting to show them a video of a fight that he got into with his dad on his phone. An officer takes the phone, and that's when a fight ensued. Blood can be seen on the floor later in the video from facial injuries that Nino suffered that required stitches, lawyers said. He also suffered a fractured wrist that required surgery after repeatedly saying in the body cam video that the handcuffs were too tight.
Yeah, Dad, you wildin', fam. You called it Johnny's on your kid because he wouldn't give you a phone, and you try to, I don't know, maybe I'm being overly judgmental. I do find it strange that he tried to show y'all what was going on the phone, which should be part of your investigation, and instead of investigating, y'all attacked him and then blamed him for it. Par for the course with you, he definitely not heroes. Thank you if you made it this far. If you liked the video, feel free to hit that thumbs up button. I greatly appreciate it. If you care to go a little further than that, maybe even subscribe, hit the notification bell. Check out a few of the other videos on the channel. Either way, y'all be safe.